Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel just dropped a brand new trailer for Daredevil Born Again and a bunch of other trailers too. I have footage for everything, so I will try to do videos for all the trailers that Marvel just dumped. As you can see, they say the series is dropping March 2025, so we wanted to wait that long. They'll probably drop a nice shiny version of the trailer later this year when Agatha comes out. This is kind of like the janky potato quality version of the trailer, but it's still good enough. We get a pretty good idea of what's going on during the series. And if it wasn't clear, everything from before, during the Marvel Netflix era, is still canon. That's actually a change that they made when they sort of rebooted the show. Like, they rebooted the reboot. The actual story is a combination of Devil's Reign in the comics when Kingpin becomes mayor and the Muse arc, who's a much more recent villain. As you can see in the trailer, there's like a really cool meeting in the diner between Kingpin and Daredevil, and they're trying to agree to disagree about how to deal with the Muse character, essentially. Even though Kingpin is always going to be Daredevil's biggest villain, part of the idea, I think, is that they're forced to work together to deal with Muse during the season, because now that Kingpin is becoming mayor, he's working above board, but still doing all these shady things. So even though he's trying to cloak himself in righteousness, like, look at me, I'm going to fix New York City, all these problems, all these vigilantes we're going to get rid of, Daredevil can't go after him the same way, like he's forced to actually have to work with him. There are a couple very notable characters that you recognize during this, like Punisher is back, Jon Bernthal is back as Punisher. I know people will be confused, like, why is he attacking Matt, and why does Matt have to remind him that he is Matt Murdock? Like, it's Matt Murdock, don't attack me. Do you want to put the hatchet down? What's going on here? It would not be Punisher if you found him after all these years we haven't seen him and he's just completely unhinged. Just starting at the beginning of the trailer footage, so you see Matt Murdock as lawyer going to prison to meet with the Hector Ayala version of White Tiger, like the original version of White Tiger. He tells him people have gone missing, all of a sudden nobody seems to care, the city needs a hero, and then they show you flashbacks of how he wound up in prison, like he gets involved in this altercation in the subway. It looks like he kills some mugger here that's trying to steal from someone. When he says someone has to protect the streets, the person flipping the knife seems like the Muse character. He says someone has to protect the streets out there. Like, obviously he's talking about there being a need for the Daredevil character without saying in so many words. Like, he doesn't know that Matt Murdock is the Daredevil, so Daredevil is sitting there just kind of chuckling to himself like, aha, yes, the city does need a protector. Needs someone like me. When he says people are going missing, the mural on the wall here is actually right out of the Muse comic. Muse draws it, and he actually hates Kingpin. So part of the idea is that even though Muse is the villain, he also hates Kingpin. That sort of feeds into the idea that Kingpin wants to get rid of quote-unquote dangerous vigilantes and is forced to work with Matt Murdock, lawyer, but also knows that he is Daredevil and wants to get rid of him as Daredevil as well too. Kingpin trying to use this as an excuse to get rid of all the vigilantes in New York City, which includes people like Spider-Man. Then they cut in footage from a completely different scene of a bank robbery with Matt Murdock there. We actually see Kamala Khan's father working at the bank, so this is a bit of a crossover with the Ms. Marvel series here. People wondering what's going on here. I'm assuming that he just works inside the city at this bank. Like, Daredevil has not gone to Jersey City where Kamala Khan lives. It's that he's somewhere in this bank in New York City and Kamala Khan's father just happens to work here. Love the fact that the villain who's robbing the bank here has the red hood. Very ironic. Then you see White Tiger putting on his suit, talking about the calling that he feels as a superhero, as a vigilante. Like, it's more than just wearing the suit. It's all about this grand idea. Sort of the higher meaning, the higher calling that he feels to be a vigilante protecting the streets. This necklace that he wears is also right out of the comics too. But you can kind of see, because this is Daredevil, they're kind of going with the vibe of the original series, people's costumes tend to look a little more real world. Then Daredevil senses Kingpin walking down the stairs here, like you can see him using his Daredevil sense. There's a quick montage of a couple images, and this mural here is by the Muse character. They just start teasing the actual villain of the series. Notice the crown on his mural here. This is meant to be a drawing of Kingpin, so to speak. This is just the teaser that he's slowly going after a Kingpin. Then they have that funny moment where he says, you don't realize people need a hero, and he just kind of chuckles to himself because Daredevil is a hero. It's just that White Tiger doesn't know that he's Daredevil. Then we get another new version of the Marvel Television logo. So I talked about this in some of my previous series. There have been a couple series so far where they've started branding them differently. So originally we just had the Marvel Studios intro logo, the long version that played before all the TV shows and all the movies. Now what they've done is they sort of divided Marvel into a bunch of different sub-brands. So for instance, X-Men 97 has a title that says Marvel Animation. This is for Marvel Television. And then the movies still have the traditional Marvel Studios intro logo. So this is meant to be Daredevil's new version of that. Just like the style of all the other intro logos, they flash a bunch of the Daredevil comics inside the letters here. Then they cut up that scene with them in the diner talking to each other, Daredevil and Kingpin, with them talking about the state of New York City and the state of their sort of relationship right now, where it sort of exists. As they flash between a bunch of different scenes in different parts of the episodes, Daredevil says New York has been what it's always been, out for blood. As they continue to flash back to that subway attack, we basically see how White Tiger winds up in prison, killing that dude in the subway. We get our first look at Foggy Nelson and Karen Page. Not sure if this is a flashback or if this is in present day. We'll see. Then he says the entire system is against you. This is meant to be White Tiger in prison. Then you see Daredevil in the courtroom getting ready for a trial with say no more comments. Part of the idea, I think, in the original version of the season, before they sort of rebooted the reboot, when they were going to do this completely different version of Daredevil Born Again, I think a lot of the season was going to be based on the trial of the White Tiger from the comics. It's still a big part of the season, but I don't think it's nearly as big a part of the story as it was originally. We see more of that bank robbery with Kamala Khan's father trying to not get shot. Then we see a shot of Kingpin on a rooftop looking down at the city. This is actually a Daredevil shot, like he's in a Daredevil position, because normally when you see someone looking down over the rooftops, it's Daredevil doing this. I think that's just meant to show the juxtaposition of where Kingpin's character is at this season. Like, he's trying to fix New York City, but he's doing it in a very Kingpin kind of way. Like, fix New York City by basically taking away a lot of people's freedoms. Sort of like a Dark Reign era of Marvel kind of situation. As Daredevil says, it's kind of like David and Goliath. He's meant to be the Goliath, Kingpin is meant to be the Goliath, and Daredevil is meant to be the David. A lot of religious iconography because Daredevil, very religious character. Everybody breaking out all those old Bible lessons that they learned in church that forgot about. Then we finally see the Punisher come back and come after Daredevil. For whatever reason, he just doesn't recognize him immediately, probably because he didn't see him without his mask on before. My assumption is this confirms that even though they didn't get snapped, like Punisher didn't get snapped and Daredevil didn't get snapped, because we saw during the Echo series he was still trying to be a superhero during that 5-year time jump. Even if they crossed paths during the 5-year time jump, he still didn't see Daredevil with his mask off, like they didn't spend that much time together. Unless something really crazy has happened to Punisher, I think that's the only logical way to explain why he doesn't recognize Matt Murdock, because he's pretty recognizable. Kinda looks like Punisher hasn't shaved in a while too, like I said, totally unhinged. Exactly what you would expect from the Punisher. Then we see more of that bank robbery with the guns starting to go off and Daredevil actually moving into action, but while he's in his regular lawyer clothes as Matt Murdock. Then we finally see Bullseye come back. We actually got some footage of him behind the scenes coming after Karen Page. It seems like he's just trying to carry that plot forward from the end of season 3. If you remember, he was trying to kill Karen Page during the original Marvel Netflix series. My guess is that he's just trying to finish the job and he'll probably get a couple different suits during the series, but here he's still in prison. If you remember, he got his metal spine during the original Daredevil Netflix series. Now, because Captain America Brave New World is introducing adamantium to the MCU, maybe they can also canonize that his spine is adamantium like it is in the comics. They flash a couple different scenes with Matt Murdock looking like he's walking through an election rally for Kingpin. Remember, he's running for mayor during the events of the series. I think at the beginning he might still be running for mayor, and then later in the series he's already become mayor. Like, there'll be a little bit of a time jump. During the end of the Echo series, he was just getting the idea to run for mayor, so like obviously this takes place after the events of Echo. Then he says things can't go unchecked. This is when he's still in the diner talking to Kingpin, just talking about how he's not going to let Kingpin do whatever he feels like doing. We see the scene of Kingpin smashing the hell out of someone, Hulk smash, but this time make it Kingpin. Him smashing the Russian in the car door, still probably one of the all-time best Kingpin scenes from the Daredevil Netflix series. They flash that title card, The Devil's Work is Never Done, essentially. We see 5 different Daredevil costumes. We just see the helmets, but it's essentially 5 different Daredevil costumes that he'll wear during the series at some point. I think the idea with the different costumes is they're meant to represent the different states of his mind as he sort of evolves as a character across the series. Some of these you'll recognize, like the one in the middle is the one that he wore during She-Hulk, the yellow and red suit. The one to the left of that is his traditional red suit that he wore during the Daredevil Netflix series. The one on the far right I think is meant to be his new red suit. There's a black one in between those. I think this is either meant to be his Back in Black suit, or you could think of it as his Shadowland suit. All these suits are meant to be the reason why he came to LA during the She-Hulk series. Remember, he was visiting his quote-unquote tailor that made the suits for him. Then we see him in the courtroom. We see a shot of White Tiger during a different part of the series out in his suit, just trying to be a vigilante. Then he says sometimes peace needs to be broken. You see him dancing with someone while he's still talking to Kingpin during different scenes as they cut together. I'm not sure who this character is that he's dancing with. This scene of the person in the fog I think is meant to be Bullseye when he comes for Karen Page. I think it's meant to be part of these scenes here that we saw behind the scenes. Then we finally get a shot of the Muse villain. Everybody will recognize Vanessa from the Daredevil Netflix series. She came back. Originally, in the pre-reboot version of this, it was a different version of Vanessa, so I think fans complained enough that Marvel's like, you know what, let's bring back the original Vanessa. Really glad that they did that, because originally Foggy Nelson and Karen Page were going to be killed off too, so I think people would have been really pissed off if they'd have gone with that original version. There are a couple shots of Daredevil in his Daredevil suit. They have a bit of a funny moment at the diner where he says they really do understand each other. And he basically tells Kingpin that if he steps across the line, like if he goes too far, then Daredevil will be there to stop him, just like he always has. Then Kingpin's reply should tell you everything you need to know about the continuity of the series, because he says, is this Matt Murdock telling me to take caution, or is this your darker half? Basically saying the man in the red suit. That's what he calls him when he's talking to other people on his team. Like during the Echo series, he called him the man in the red suit. He didn't say Daredevil. But he did learn that Matt Murdock was Daredevil at the end of Daredevil Season 3. Like, he ripped his mask off as he was fighting him. Like, right after he took him down, he said, I beat you, as he ripped his mask off, showing his face. So part of the idea is that Kingpin can't get rid of Matt Murdock because he wants to get rid of Daredevil, obviously. Like, he really hates Daredevil. But Daredevil knows about all the shady stuff he's done, like he has all this dirt on him, so Kingpin running for mayor sort of puts them in a weird position where they can't totally take each other down, and they're both trying to fix New York City in their own way, being forced to work with each other because of this Muse villain. Then we see the fight scene of Daredevil versus the Muse villain in his red suit. There's another fight scene of him in the bank, and he is beating the hell out of Muse. Then they end the trailer with that funny moment of Kamala Khan's father being shocked that he's taken down this bank robber, asking, what kind of lawyer are you, Jesus? And he walks out with that Spider-Man No Way Home reference, a very good one. And as they say, it's coming out March 2025. As of right now, they've already renewed it for Season 2. They're going to start filming Season 2 pretty soon. I believe Season 1 will be 8 or 9 episodes. Season 2 will be the same. Originally, it was going to be 18 episodes. I think they just split the story into 2 parts. So like Season 1 will be the first part of that. Season 2 will be the second part of that. If there's any other Easter eggs or references that you spotted in the trailer that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. There were a bunch of other trailers that dropped at D23, so I'll try to do videos for everything. I'm working on my Mandalorian Grogu movie teaser trailer. There's a Skeleton Crew trailer for another Star Wars series. There's an Agatha All Along trailer. There's more Red Hulk footage from Captain America Brave New World. We got Andor Season 2 trailers. We got Ironheart teaser trailers. We might also get the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man trailer and X-Men 97 Season 2 teaser trailer too. D23 has sort of been like a trailer bonanza, so I'll try to do videos for as much of that as quickly as possible, but it'll probably take me a couple days to get through all the different footage. Everybody click here for all those other D23 trailers. I'll update the link as soon as I post all those videos, and click here to learn about all the Deadpool and Wolverine alternate endings, deleted scenes, and deleted cameos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.